In this video, we are going to be covering how to sew the keyhole sleeve on the Ophelia dress. So this is a really lovely feature where the sleeve there's a gather on the sleeve head, and then this part all gathers in and you've got a wee keyhole here. It was seen on the last season of Bridgerton. Violet Bridgerton was wearing the same style, and a few people had messaged me asking me what type of sleeve it was, and I knew it was one that I was definitely going to add to this pattern. So you will have 4 sleeve pieces. So I've marked these 2 as my inside ones. Not that it'll really matter with this fabric, but you can have your lining and your outer fabric or matching our notches here. Yeah, so you'll have an outer and an inner piece. And the first step is to sew around this opening here. So we have our notch here. So you want to, because we'll be sewing this, flipping it round and then sewing the channel, you actually want to have these wee end bits here. So these wee ends, this bit here, folded back about 1 centimetre. So I'm actually just going to press these and get them sitting back. So I've pressed those wee ends back into themselves. And so we're going to sew around here with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. We will also be sewing this bottom edge, but you need to make sure that you leave a big enough gap here that you'll be able to feed through your elastic or your ribbon. So you're not going to be sewing it all in one go, we'll be leaving a gap. So, okay. So 1 centimetre seam allowance is making sure you back stitch at the start and the end. For this curved one here, now you will need to take your time. I like to keep my needle in the down position as I'm sewing. And then it means that I can sort of lift the foot and adjust it as I need to as I'm going. Oh. So we have our sleeve hole, our keyhole sewn here, and the 2 hems. You can see here, pop the scissors in, we've left our opening there, which will be where the ribbon's going through. The next stage is to snip into this curved area so that whenever we turn it round, it opens up nicely. We don't really need to worry about trimming the seam down unless you are using a heavier fabric, and then you would want to just trim this down a wee bit so there's not so much bulk when it's all gathered in. But for these lighter weight viscose fabrics, you're fine without trimming it down. And it's all going to be encased within the lining, so you're not going to see any of it. We just need to snip into it so it opens up when we turn it around. So very similar to the keyhole back, but just in a different area. So then we will be flipping this all around, right sides together. And I'm going to give it a press first. So I have this is my lining. So I'm going to be pressing the seam allowance towards the lining side. And then that means when you flip it around again, it actually gives quite a nice line there. It gives a sort of a press without having to press the two together, so that it folds over quite nice and crisp. So I'll go full iron these now. So we have everything now pressed around. The two openings are down here, and this is all going to gather in. So the next stage is I'm going to first of all just understitch this bottom edge. We don't need to worry about understitching this because it's all going to gather in. So now we're going to sew the channel. So you just want to make sure that your opening here is sort of poked in. Yeah. And we're going to, so from one side to the other, you don't want to start right up at the edge here. We're going to be starting about 2 centimeters back. Make sure you back stitch. And we're going for 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, which just gives you enough room to feed your ribbon or elastic through. So I have some dark green here, which I think will work. There's a lot of different greens in this fabric, so any one of them really would work with it. Or your other option is to put elastic through, which I would do sometimes, just to use the elastic to bring it in, and then you have your ribbon just to tie on at the ends. Or we have pink. We're going to give this ribbon a go. So we need So you're going to start feeding it through with a safety pin at one end. So when we get to this end here, you just need to take your time poking it out, because it can get caught in under where you've tucked the fabric from before. Oh, we're not even. And that's us. So we have our keyhole sleeve. I am now going to sew up these side seams and then do the gathering stitches around the top so that we can set the sleeve in. This seam here will be pressed open. And that's our keyhole sleeve sewn. A little gathering at the top. So it is a really, really lovely detail, and I haven't tried it yet, but I think this one can be used on the Emily dress as well, which would be a really lovely detail to add to it. I did make an Emily top last year which had this detail on it, so I need to make sure this pattern piece is going to fit in as well, but I think it should. So yeah, that is your keyhole sleeve. I hope you enjoy making it.